This is the Talos Principle 2. It's been a long time since I played the original Talos Principle, and I don't think I ever beat it formally. Like, I think that what am I saying formally? I didn't beat it at all. I think I got maybe halfway through the game, and the puzzles in that game are very challenging and clever, and the whole game is beautiful and very well done, but I think I just didn't have the stamina to make it all the way through. Still, it was a very clever game, and I really admired it, and I've heard that this one is supposed to be really good too. The basic concept, as I remember it from the original Talos Principle, was that you were a robot navigating some space, and it was full of like old messages and things that were sort of like raising philosophical questions about sentience and identity and stuff like that. And so it was kind of like a philosophical treatise scattered across a whole bunch of laser puzzles. And I'm imagining this will be, I don't know, maybe something similar, it being a sequel and all. But this is my very first time hitting this play button, so we'll see how it goes. Also, we'll see how the performance of the game goes, because historically, I've had a lot of trouble, streaming PC games, especially really high-end, attractive PC games, because, my video card can't stream a really high-quality stream at the same time that it is playing one of these games. But I did find an option right here, frame rate limit. So I've limited this to 30 frames per second, and I hope what that means is that'll leave enough processing time for my graphics card to also be putting a stream out at the same time that it's rendering this game. So, crossing my fingers that once we get out of the main menu, the game will perform just fine, and we'll be able to do a proper episode. So yeah, we'll go here with a new game, and see what happens. A prophet hath no honor in his own country. John 4:44. I have always felt that a human being could only be saved by another human being. James Baldwin. Initializing firmware. Firmware functional. Loading autonomous program parameters. Version 1.08 loaded. System check passed. Initializing memory banks. Starting autonomous process. Ready. Hello. I am some kind of robot. I'm a robot with toes. You don't usually see toes on a robot. Oh, look at those little toes.
Behold, child.
Whoa, what?
You are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden.
Holy crap.
Hear now my voice, and know that I am your friend, and I am called Elohim.
So Elohim is a name for God? I believe it's biblical. It's used a lot by Mormons, which is my sort of philosophical background. And I think it's a plural term, but I think it's using the plural for like emphasis, the way that people would use the royal we. Okay, so this looks like something I probably can't cross. Yeah, I can't cross that. So, oh, are you? What are you? Are you a late? It's a jammer. Oh, we're gonna jam. Okay, so this disables electronics, I guess. And then we've got... Okay, so that's probably like the portal field that like eliminates your tools or something. So that... Wait, what was that? That thing flickered out for a second. Jump here? Boink. Yay, I'm standing on it. But I can also take it. And drop it. And then jump on it! For no reason. Alright. Well, hey. This place isn't real. Stuff keeps flickering out.
This land is but a dream. You will stay here only for a little while. Soon you will awaken in a new world. But first, you must undertake the trials of initiation. They will help me prepare your vessel.
Okay, so we've got some Tetris pieces here. This is familiar. I remember this from Talos 1, but I forgot what it means. Am I earning pieces by completing puzzles? Is that what this is? So yeah, so the purple fields, I think, keep me from bringing items from one puzzle to another. Cubic steps, and I get an L piece. Okay, so I can do that. Get another one. I like how they call cubes hexahedrons, which is technically just a fancy word for cube. Okay, so what if I... Is there a best place to try to make a staircase? I appreciate that they sort of, like, make sure it's easy for me to... Okay, that didn't quite work. Wait, how far away can I pick these up from? Can I go like this? And like... Okay, so I can knock myself off. I was going to say, like, can I place it underneath my own feet? But no, while I'm jumping, I can't place it. Because that would be a neat trick.
You may linger in my garden for as long as you wish. But remember, my child, that the new world awaits you, and this place is only a dream.
So folks in the chat are talking about the name of God. Paroxicus is like, wait, isn't Elohim God's real name? I think he said that around the same time that I was explaining what it was. And, oh wait, that's higher than that. Oh, that's lower. Oh, okay, got it. And then Malator is bringing up the name Jehovah. He's mostly just making an Indiana Jones reference, which was, by the way, that was an insane scene in Indiana Jones when they're like, you know, in the original, like, Jehovah begins with an I, and so he steps on the J and he's wrong. But I'm like, but the reason it started with an I was because J literally didn't exist. When J was added to the alphabet, Jehovah was spelled with a J at that point. So, like, I'm trying to imagine the person who would make a trap that has a J in it, where that wouldn't be the first letter in Jehovah, right? That just doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay, so I can only take this if I'm on the other side. Can I climb up on this? No. Interesting. So is there going to be some way... Yeah, so this is the only place I think that's low enough that I could... Oh, wait, what if I... Can I make a jump like that? Can I do this? There we go. Okay.
Well done, my child.
Oh, and as long as I see... Oh, they're not even making... Oh, this is kind of cool, actually. So this is a game... It's not meant to be an athletic game. This is meant to be a thinking game. And so they basically made it so that you can just nail every... All I'm doing is just hitting the spacebar, and as long as I can see those footprints, I will land exactly where the footprints say. So I don't have to be somebody who can do first-person jumping puzzles to do this. But yeah, anyway, historically, I believe that Elohim was the name of God in the earliest books of the Bible, like during the creation myth and stuff like that. And then I think that in the later parts of, like, the Pentateuch, when, like, Moses was talking to God and stuff like that, I think that, like, Exodus and all, I think that then he called God Jehovah? I think that was when we started calling God Jehovah at that stage. And so in many traditions, people treat that like that's just the same person. I know in the Mormon tradition, we actually treat that as being two different people. You know, with different names because they're different people. But, you know, it's you know, you're talking about ancient books here, ancient texts that people read in a lot of different ways and decide, you know, need to mean a lot of different things. So I'm not going to make any declarations about right or wrong there. Paroxicus says he can't, if he was hearing Elohim talk, he can't imagine it not sounding like Morgan Freeman. Okay, so we need to get on the other side of this fence. And, okay, I can't carry things through here. So getting this box to the other side would be amazing. But it looks like I can't. Now, what if... Oh, I have an idea what I could do. This is interesting. So, normally, when you're making a puzzle game, like a 3D puzzle game like this, you try to set it up so that the problems you're facing and the solutions you're finding are ones that you imagine would also work if this was the real world. Oh, okay. Cool. I was about to say, like, if the... Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, is it gonna work? Yeah. So the fact that I can get this block outside of the fence because there's a stack of blocks below it, whereas before those blocks were here, I could not throw it over the fence. That's not a solution that you would need in the real world. In the real world, if you can get it over the fence, you can get it over the fence. Like that's it. Like there's no having to have a stack on the other side in the real world. However, from the very beginning, they're making it clear this is not the real world. They're making it really clear that this is actually a virtual world that has its own rules. And so it's more easy to accept that scenario when you know that this is meant to be a fake place. Hey there, Fallstar. So Paroxicus is now referring to the word the name Yahweh. So Yahweh and Jehovah, that's the same name. It's just rendered in different ways. If you think about it, a J and a Y across languages are often the same sound. A W and a V are often the same sound. And so Yahweh and Jehovah. I mean, if you pronounce your V's like W's and your J's like Y's, Yehovah is how you would say Jehovah, right? Yahweh, Yehovah. You know, it's the same. That is the same word. Elohim is a different word, and so you can quibble about whether or not it's the same person. But Yahweh and Jehovah are the same name. Okay, so I can't get up there. I need some kind of block. I guess I can pick that up and put it here. And oh wait, hey, I'm moving around too much. I should rely on the hints. On the little helpers.
The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are symbols of the process by which our people were created.
So I assume our people is robot kind, and they're symbols because they're from Tetris, and Tetris is a computer program. Okay, this is locked. Oh, wait. Oh. So I can use the blocks in a lock, but I don't think I've... Oh, do I have enough? Let's see. Pick sigil. Place. Okay, so actually, this needs to go vertically, right? So let's say this has to go vertically, and then this one, and then that one. And so now I'm going to collect some more bits. Paroxicus, I'm glad that you enjoyed hearing what... Oh, gosh. Hearing what little I know about theology. Okay, so it looks like there's this rule where when I want to pick something up, I have to advance to it first before I pick it up. So I click the pick up button. It advances me and it takes me off this. So I can't just pick things up from wherever I want to be. So, what is that? Detach fan? Can I put the fan here? Oh, weird. So this is a pressure plate, but it also accepts a fan. And so you can have a pressure plate that accepts a fan, but you can also have one of these things. And does the fan only work? Yes, it only works when I hit this pressure plate. So what happens if I put this here? It elevates it. Okay, so if I pick this up, stand on this, and then place it down again, it elevates me and I can jump there. I wonder, would it have elevated me? I can't take it. Would it have elevated me if I had just been standing on it, just straight? Yes, but not high enough. So again, not quite how physics would work, I don't think. Like, basically, this fan raises things to a specific height, and then you can stack on top of it whatever you want. Not how weight works in the real world, but again, this is a virtual world with rules of its own, and it's okay for a virtual world to have rules of its own. Okay, so Coalition is asking a question. On our Discord server, he's got a community that he runs that includes a bunch of State of Decay fans, and he calls State of Decay fans decayers. I mean, is that kind of like calling them rotters? Like, I don't know. It's if they like it, you can call them whatever you want, I guess. Okay, so I can do that, but then looks like I probably can't get up there without bringing at least one other fan. So what if I drop that and then replace the fan with this, and then carry the fan up, put it here, and then there we go. I love early puzzles in games like this because they're often still just as clever as the later puzzles, but they're just a little easier, and you get like this nice, instead of spending ages and ages working on a puzzle, you get this nice little dopamine hit for just beating puzzle after puzzle real fast. Okay, so it looks like if I go there, I fly up here. And what's up here? A switch? What did that do? It turned on a fan that delivered me a block. And what's the block for? Okay, there's a laser that is doing something. Oh, what's the laser doing? Is that fan keeping me out of that space? Yes, that fan is keeping me out of that space. So, time to pick up this. Set it here. No, not here. Here. There we go. Just barely tall enough to block the laser. Now the laser isn't firing into that switch anymore, so I can get the piece. And now, I think this is the fourth one. We've got pressure plate, unlocks door. We've got jammer, which is currently jamming. Oh, so I have to actually select what it's jamming. I can't just point it in a direction. I have to point my cursor at the thing it's jamming. Was that true in Talos 1, or would it just jam whatever was in front of it in Talos 1? So here's a question: am I going to use it as a pressure plate to open this door, or should I have been using it as a jammer to open that door? And can I have it jam it? Can it jam from this far back? It can. It can do both jobs at once. And that's maybe the advantage of having it specifically linked to one thing it's jamming, because then you can do it from kind of an arbitrary distance and know for sure it's going to work. Because I think that part of the challenge in a game like this is, of course, making the puzzle pieces actually work. But part of the challenge is also getting the player to know in advance what's going to work. And because to solve a puzzle like this, what it's doing has to be predictable. Okay, so I'm using this jammer from the opposite side of that purple field to take that out, which means I get to have this jammer, which can jam that. And there we go. I just heard a noise. What have we unlocked? Alright, so yeah, I didn't actually see a door that is opened with golden Tetris pieces, so where would that be? Is it this? Oh, okay, no. Where's the one that requires the golden ones? This one. Okay, so the challenge is going to be the S-shaped ones. There we go. That works.
I am proud of all my children. Out of a world of ruins, they have built a new Jerusalem. And there your brothers and sisters await you to celebrate your birth.
Okay, so we've got this door being opened with that sensor. You can pick this up. And you gotta go around a corner, huh? So let's say I'm gonna point it at that. Okay, so theoretically that connects with that, but I need to actually connect it to a laser. Because if I move, it cancels, I guess. So now we're connecting this. I feel like, what is that noise? Oh, it opens a gate to make it easier for me to get out. It probably did that last time too, and I just didn't realize. Let's mess with this for just a second. So right click keeps the connection, and I just move it slightly. But left click breaks the connections. So let's see. I'll connect it to that. And that. And then I place it down. That's the procedure. Okay, got it. I'm glad it's not directional. Actually, the fact that they've made these things, and I have no idea if this is a variance from Talos 1 or if Talos 1 actually did this too, but I like that you're consciously choosing what the targets are rather than trying to arrange something perfectly, like aim it perfectly. That would just be maddening, and it wouldn't really have any bearing on whether you're clever enough to solve the puzzle. It would just be about your manual dexterity, which is just less satisfying for a game like this. Wait, you can connect to multiple things? How many multiple things can you connect to? So if I wanted to connect something to that, and then get this, what would I need to do? I guess... So I have to keep that open, right? If I'm going to get over there, that has to stay open. So how many things can I connect? Okay, so I stand in the way, and it blocks everything off. Oh, wait. Oh, weird. It stopped. That one stopped working. Wasn't it working a second ago? It does keep the connections, but... Oh, that's neat. Okay. So I could casually walk through it and it doesn't break things, but if I stand in the way for a long time, it breaks things. Yeah, so they open up all the fences for me. Destructive interference. Okay, so we need to connect red to red and blue to blue. But I'm betting what's going to happen is blue and red beams are going to collide and break each other. Where's the source? Oh, there's the blue source. Okay, so I could place something. Okay, let's just start messing around. This is probably going to be wrong. Okay, so this door doesn't open unless we get both blue and red. This door doesn't open unless we get both blue and red. So where... Oh, and there's red right there. Okay, so let's try the wrong way first. So yeah, so they interfere with each other if they cross. So what I need to do is find a way to connect everything. It doesn't break stuff, so I'm trying to think. I bet this has something to do with it. I just haven't figured out how exactly. Because, okay, the red... Okay, if we were just to connect them directly, and we didn't need to get the source, red could connect to red, and then blue could not connect to blue without... Like, they would definitely just cross in the middle. So there has to be some roundabout way. Is there someplace elevated that I can stick one of them? Is there any place on this map that's elevated? I mean, there are slight elevation changes. Of course, wait a minute. Maybe I don't need to worry about both. Oh, there's a third connector here. Okay, I'm betting step one is to get this to happen. So maybe I don't need to worry. Let's not worry about this door yet. Let's just connect this to this. And then, can I walk in that? Yes. It's just sticky. Now I've got a third connector. Not sure what that does. Can I sit on top of another connector? No. Huh. Folks are saying that the stream froze for them. I don't show any dropped frames, so hopefully that means that it was Twitch's problem and not my problem, and I've still got a recording of this. Okay. So now I've got a third connector. Not sure what that can do exactly. But, like, is there a way to, like, connect the blue through here or the red through here? No, I don't think that helps. I don't think adding an obstacle helps. Oh, but maybe... Wait, now that I've got the thing out there, I don't need to do that at all. Okay, so I assumed that the challenge of this... was going to be how to keep everything connected at the same time. That's not the challenge. The challenge is what order to do them in. So we don't need to open this door anymore. What we need to do is... And I love that they've set up the UX here so that I can do this in any order. Oh, I messed up. I should have picked it up without losing connections. There. So yeah, I don't need to use that little notch between the two columns at all. Yeah, so the challenge wasn't how do you get them all connected at once. The challenge was which one do you do first, which one do you do second, and how. Okay, so wait, where did I come from? Over here. Alright, next. Hello, ladies. 2 colors, 2 doors. Okay, so looks like we need red and blue over here. One thing that's nice about these very constructed puzzles, like they're not trying to pretend that they're the real world, is you can assume. You can't always assume this in every game, but you can assume that every single thing that you can do needs to be done at some point. Like, I guess sometimes they'll do conscious red herrings, but a lot of the time, like, I don't even need to know where my goal is. Oh, there it is. There's my goal over there. But, like, as long as I just keep doing the stuff that seems doable, I'm probably on the right track. Okay, so I need... Okay, so the red door, this door has to be open to get a blue laser at all. And that door has to be open for me to be able to get there. And so this seems to be necessary. But What if I set this where it was? Put it on top, elevate the beams. And then, did I get a... Yes, I've got a second beamy thing here. Then... Did the soundtrack change when I figured that out? Are they watching for me to figure out things and then... Oh, come on, come now. Yeah, are they watching me to figure things out? By the way, notice that this thing slowly fills up before it registers. I think that's so that you can't just sort of like you have to have find stable solutions. Okay, one more. Fallstar asks if these puzzles are harder than the first game. Well, the thing is, I'm at the beginning of the second game. So, no, these particular puzzles are not harder than the first game, but I expect that the puzzles will get at least as hard as we go. I do feel like they might be introducing the mechanics slightly faster than they did last time. I think because, old hands at this game will want to... like people to just sort of jump right in and get to the interesting stuff. Like people who just played the other game yesterday. Okay, so we got a red thing there. So I'm kind of... I don't know. Oh, the switch turns that on. Okay, I know what we're doing. Assuming we can... Yes, we can link through the obstacles. So that doesn't work, but we elevate it, and then it does.
Thank you, child. I have finished preparing your vessel. Now, hear my advice. A new world awaits you, full of dangers and mysteries, signs and wonders. Things that I, in my garden, could never have imagined. In that world, you will have to be careful and smart and curious. But above all else, you will have to be human.
What? I'm not a human. I'm a robot. Wait a minute. There we go. I'm betting these all have like multiple solutions too, and like, what?
Do not be afraid of these dream figures and their messages. They are merely aspects of yourself, as am I, after a fashion.
I'm just curious. My phone... Okay, so yeah, so no, this like QR code really does say what it says down there. Whatever happens, we're in it together. My phone just searched that phrase when I scanned that QR code.
Step into the light, child, and awaken.
Okay, so I just did all the classic Talos stuff, but now I'm about to go somewhere new? So maybe this is where it starts being a sequel. Okay, so Fallstar says that they're actually retiring in 20 days. And they're going to... You know what? I'll answer that in a second.
Ah, you're awake.
Ah!
Welcome to the world of the living.
What are you? What's going on?
That's not an easy question to answer. But the first step is this. You've been born. Your body was completed. You were booted up, and now you're here. And rather confused. Don't worry, everyone is confused at first. You see, we all start out without a full knowledge of our own history, so we have the freedom to form our own opinions.
I could really use some pointers.
Of course. You want the short version or the long version?
Oh, this character's name is Nath. That's interesting. I actually used that name while I was writing some lore stuff that we never used. That's fascinating that somebody found the same name that I did. I want to know everything in excruciating amounts of detail. I don't know. What are y'all feeling like? I think it's probably par for the course for my stream for me to say, give me the short version. I should real quick say, so Fallstar was saying that they're going to retire in 20 days, and then they're going to go finish playing The Witness, which they had to take a long break from. It scrambled their brain. I loved The Witness. I just wanted to take a break to say how much I loved The Witness. It scrambled my brain sometimes too. Like, there were definitely parts of it where I was just staring at a set of puzzles for ages. Like, I don't even know what they want me to start trying to do. And then eventually it dawned on me, and when it did, it was usually really satisfying and amazing. There was one in particular where I'm just like, well, actually, some of those are just such technical achievements. Like, I had trouble believing that the puzzle was what it was, because it seemed like an impossible technical achievement to make a puzzle like that. Anyway, okay, short version.
All right, let's see. You are a human being. You live on a planet called Earth. Your ancestors were organic, but they were wiped out by a plague. We were created to carry forward their legacy. After the founder left the simulation that was used to create her mind, she founded the city of New Jerusalem and set the goal of creating 1,000 new humans. That took a long time, about a millennium in fact, and in the meantime, she sadly decided to go into exile. But finally, you have arrived.
What's special about me?
You're welcome. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them. When you're done, head outside. They're waiting for you. Your birth is quite the event.
Okay, it looks like I might have actually just dropped some, like, OBS is now reporting to me that I've dropped some frames. So, hopefully it wasn't too bad. Folks are having some trouble with Twitch right now. Sorry about that. Okay, so the thing, I think the philosophical question that Talos Principle, the first Talos Principle was about was, what makes you human? Like, you're a robot wandering around in a virtual world, but you are sentient. Does that make you human? Is that the essence of being human? Is it being sentient? Or is there something else? Is there something about our organic bodies that is essential to us being human? And a robot is fundamentally different. It's interesting that it feels like in the sequel, the characters have settled on an answer, which is, we are humans. We are the children of humanity, so we are human beings. We have some differences from historic humans, but you know what? Modern humans have some differences from our ancestors. That doesn't mean we are not human. So that's an interesting philosophical question, and it looks like, yeah, it's fun to see that they've sort of taken a stance on it. Now we're seeing where we go from there. So what happened to the founder?
No one really knows. At first, she was closely involved with everything that happened in the city, but gradually she became more distant. And one day, she simply vanished. That was centuries ago.
Huh. Who's Elohim?
He was the caretaker of the simulation that created the founder. When the simulation was completed, he became part of all of us. You will hear him whenever you enter sleep mode. Nothing to worry about, really.
So is the founder my character from Talos 1? Like, is the idea that Talos 1 was Elohim trying to engender a sentient mind through a bunch of puzzle challenges, and when I got to the end of it, I was sentient enough to be considered human, and I was able to leave the simulation, and the story they're telling of the founder is the story of my character from Talos 1? That's the assumption I'm making going into this. Wait, am I immortal?
You won't age like our ancestors did, but of course, there is always some wear and tear. You should probably schedule a checkup every decade or so. Oh, and be a bit careful with water. You won't die if it rains or anything, but we're running low on insulation material. I wouldn't go swimming if I were you.
All right. Will there be more humans after me?
You've only just been born, and already you step right into a major controversy. The goal, as most people understand it, was fulfilled the moment you were born. Now, New Jerusalem is complete, and we can live in balance, without damaging the world like our ancestors did. That's the orthodox view, I suppose, but there are many who disagree. You'll have to figure out where you stand for yourself.
All right. 1,000 does seem low. Like, there's like 8 billion of us. And, you know, yeah, there's problems, but not like existential crisis problems. 1,000 seems so low that I would probably be on the other side.
Me? Well, as you can tell by my number, I'm quite old. I wasn't one of the first companions, but I did know Athena personally. She and Cornelius taught me a lot. Although I suppose I've made a few improvements here and there since those days. We didn't have a lot to work with in the beginning.
So, okay, so she's number 33. So I guess, did I miss the fact that I am number 1,000? Is that what it is? Like they wanted 1,000, and so now that I've been born, we're done?
I haven't really thought about it. This is all I've done for the last few centuries, and I like doing it. I guess for now I'll just take a break, and we'll see what happens.
All right, let's go.
Oh, one more thing. Like all citizens of New Jerusalem, you have access to the interface, which you can use to read the news, chat to your fellow citizens, and so on. It's a crucial tool, and modular too. You can easily add new functions. Just don't subscribe to too many newsletters at once.
Okay. So I've got a social media. So wait, they've got a society that has social media? The R-Frogs people discussion is now banned. Wow, okay, cool. Dear citizens of New Jerusalem, your hard work and faith in the Founder's vision has finally paid off. At long last, the goal established so long ago will finally be reached. The 1,000th member of our family will be born, and our beautiful city will finally be complete. As space at the dam is limited, tickets will be made available via lottery system. The celebration will also be streamed. Wow, they're very much like humans. Okay, so I guess we can expect this to be a pretty different experience then. So my goal was to just, I'm probably not going to just stream all of Talos Principle 2, but I kind of wanted to make sure that we got a sense of what was special about the sequel before I was done. And it may be that we're about to find that out. Whoa.
Look, it's 1K.
Hey, 1K! Welcome to New Jerusalem!
Shouldn't the mayor be starting his speech?
This should be interesting. At least give him a chance.
Dear citizens of New Jerusalem, many years ago, when the Founder stepped forth from the simulation, this was a land of ruins. Our ancestors, in their hubris, undermined the natural foundations on which their world had been built. Because of their arrogance, our species found itself on the brink of annihilation. The Founder aimed to set us on a new course.
You never even met the Founder.
Her vision was of a city, a new civilization that would know its limits. It would not repeat the mistakes of the past, nor impose its will on this earth. To that end, she set the great goal we have been striving towards. 1,000 new humans. And today we have... Oh dear, what's that? People of New Jerusalem.
What the heck?
I am Prometheus, and I will reveal that which was hidden. The flame has awoken and summons you. Who is brave enough to answer its call? We await you upon our island where... Curse you, Pandora. You will not chain me again.
What? What is happening? Wait, and now I'm just... Wait, hold on. You might have heard the knock at my door. I muted myself quickly to talk to one of my kids. I saw that purple guy show up and then get chained and dissolved.
I told you we should have investigated those energy readings. And I told him there's something up with those structures.
The mayor's just being cautious.
This isn't caution, it's stagnation. Exploration? Too dangerous. Expansion? Too dangerous. We barely even scavenge anymore.
You call it stagnation, I call it balance.
And I call you an idiot.
Here's a thought. Try to be a little more diplomatic when you talk to the mayor.
See what I'm working with here, 1K? I'm gonna need a fresh pair of eyes on this expedition. Someone who hasn't spent several centuries hearing about the goal and the founder and all that nonsense. If you're up for an adventure, meet us at the conference room.
What was happening with that Prometheus kid? What was that? Should I be worried? Was the Prometheus character dangerous or was he friendly? Was Pandora dangerous or friendly? I don't think I understand. I mean, this is a fun little roller coaster ride. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on, but it might be my fault for getting distracted. What?
What's broken now?
Wow, I've got like traditional like quest markers and stuff. This is a pretty different. It's funny. Like, I love that the beginning of it was the Talos Principle, and then you leave the Talos Principle.
Listen up. I know you're all having fun down there, but the grid is overloaded again, so maybe you could switch off your personal consoles or your lawn mowers or whatever the hell you've all decided to switch on all at once. I might not be around to babysit you for a while, and you don't want stuff breaking while Pellegrino's in charge, do you? That's it. That's it. Don't worry, 1K. I see you there in the elevator. I'll have you moving again in a jiffy. Great way to start life in the city, huh?
Okay, so Melitor filled me in that basically Prometheus showed up and...
What the hell is a jiffy? These bloody language libraries.
Apparently he said he was going to show up and... Oh, hey, look, there's an old human city in the background. Oh, that's cool. Anyway, he was going to tell us some kind of secret, and then Pandora stopped him. But then, yeah, okay, so I'm not crazy, So Melitor is saying that it is weird that that big event happens in front of everyone, but then the people in the train are not talking about it. And so it's just like, yep, that happened, and then we're just, like, going on about our day. Like, is that meant to be disconcerting, or what? Or is it weird that it's disconcerting? I love how, I mean, this city is so huge. For only 1,000 individuals? Like, this feels like more than 1,000 people would live and work here. Yeah, I mean, we're not that different in size from the human city in the distance, which would definitely be more than 1,000 people. Hello. Ah!
Hold on there. You're the newbie, aren't ya? Number 1,000. I figured the dam would go dry before we reach the goal. I have a question. How does it feel to you to be born with a randomized psyche into a society of autonomous thinking machines which so much resemble their long-extinct ancestors, they've decided it's best that you're the last one ever made?
So, okay, so this character's number is 666. They go by Doge. That's... I like that. So, and that is... So, honestly, that is cutting right to one of the things... Like, when I'm thinking about the philosophy of free will, and forgive me for a little digression here, the fact that I have a randomized psyche is actually one of the things that kind of bothers me about the way some people think about free will. Like, some people are like, they feel like if their choices are predictable, if you can, like, know somebody so well that you can guess what they're going to do next and be correct consistently, they feel like, oh no, that means that I'm predictable. That means that I don't have free will. I can't do other things. But for me, being predictable actually is the more satisfying version of free will. The idea that there are certain things that I would do, that I would predictably do, but that someone else in my position would not do, that means I have free will, because who I am is determining what happens. If I was unpredictable, which means that I will do random things all the time, that doesn't feel like free will. That doesn't feel like a conscious person choosing something based on who they are. That feels like somebody rolling dice for every decision, or rolling dice at the outset. Like, who is this person? Roll the dice. I guess they're like that, and there's no meaning to it. I guess for me, yeah, like if our identities were consciously created by God, then all of our choices are God's responsibility, not ours. That's unsatisfying. If all of our choices are randomized because we have, we've been granted free will, maybe God created us or we evolved or whatever, but then something magically gave us something called free will, where we become completely unpredictable free agents, that's unsatisfying too, because if all of your choices are effectively random, there's no meaning in it. Who cares? Like, to me, deterministic choice making, where like maybe there's random factors that come into determining what your identity is, but then once you have that identity, you are locked in. You are this person, and this person makes these kinds of choices. I find that much more satisfying, because then there's meaning to the idea that, oh, you put me in this role, you put me in this relationship, you put me in this job, and doing so means that certain things happen that only happen because I'm there. And if somebody else had gone there, different things would have happened. That feels like there's meaning to me being there, instead of me just being a random, whatever assortment of stuff. So, people say, oh, well, you're just the way you are because of evolution, or because of your upbringing, or because of your genes, or because of whatever, and so therefore you don't have free will. I'm like, no. That list of things that make me up, that are different from every other person, that is who I am. Like, that's me. It's not like I'm this little, like, nugget of choice making in my head, and all the other factors are outside influences that are controlling me. I don't see it that way. I see it as all those outside influences, all those things like my upbringing and my genes and the forces around me in society, all that stuff, that is part of who I am. And when that collection of influences all meld together into an entity that makes a choice, all that stuff is me, and I'm making that choice. And I can't separate myself from those influences. They are me. They're a part of my identity. And so I prefer to think of free will, the question of free will, being about whether your choices have meaning because they're yours. Who owns the choice? Not, was the choice free? Was the choice random? Was it unpredictable? Being random and unpredictable doesn't make the choice meaningful. Being, like, owning the choice. The choice was made because it was you, and a different person would have made a different choice. That's what makes it meaningful. So, the idea that I have a randomized psyche would be pretty distressing, actually. I mean, I don't know. It would be distressing at first. I guess once I came to terms with the fact that, that was where I came from, but now I am this person. And now that this person exists, this person is making choices, I think I would still feel okay with that. It's if each choice I made was unpredictable, because I'm constantly re-rolling the dice all the time, that would feel less satisfying. It makes me feel curious.
Why?
Let's see here. Life has found a way. Oh, yeah, I'm lucky to be here to see this at all. That's true. I will say that.
So, the algorithm assigned you the optimism trait. If only we could all be so lucky. Now, listen. This meeting isn't strictly happenstance. I have some friends. The kind of people who like to know what's going on with other people. They think you can help each other out.
So I do like, so all this philosophical stuff is really, really easy to undermine, and I like that they've got this character Doge who, her whole job is to like she just always takes a stance where she's just undermining my belief in the value of my own choices and my own sentience. That's going to be kind of fun having that going in the background all the time. Dr. House is a little bit like that too. Just undermining the value of people's moral choices, constantly finding a way to frame other people's choices as self-interested to try to push the idea that no one is altruistic. And that's an easy, like, it's very easy to find those arguments, but I also don't think it's interesting to find those, because it's easy. I don't think it's interesting to find those arguments. It's much easier, it's much better in my mind to find more, moral meaning in people's choices than that. So Falstar says, where have I heard life finds a way? That is Jurassic Park. Ian Malcolm. I'm curious to meet these people.
Of course you are. You know how to use the interface, right?
Nope.
I'll talk to my friends and see if I can't play matchmaker. And before you go, a word of advice. Not everything around here is how it appears.
All right. So I love that, they're creating 1,000 robots, and they're like why is this one from Down Under? Just randomly, because like the reason humans talk differently is because we all come from places and societies with history.
Please join us at the table.
But these guys, they all just have randomized identities from humanity's past.
I would like to preface this meeting by saying I told you something would happen sooner or later, and you didn't listen to me. And here we are.
If we could focus on the issue at hand.
The issue at hand is not this one thing, but this entire attitude that's taken hold. The world doesn't cease to exist when you stick your head in the sand, Herman. Or under a dome, as it were.
Let's not get sidetracked. We're here to solve this puzzle, not to discuss philosophy.
Aren't we here to discuss philosophy? I'm pretty sure Talos Principle as a whole is here to discuss philosophy.
Of course. I'm sorry you've been dragged into this. I'm sure this sort of adventure is the last thing you were looking for on your first day.
Actually, this is fascinating.
Ha! See? A fresh mind is open to the possibilities. Yakut, I think it's time for the briefing.
All right, here we go. Nice to meet you, by the way, 1K. We first became aware of the site designated TTP-2 during a scouting expedition about 6 months ago. It's a large island with a remarkably varied geography, and it looks like there are several artificial structures of some kind. We recorded extremely unusual fluctuating energy readings from somewhere in the middle of the island, but couldn't really make sense of them. I wanted to go and have a closer look, but the decision was made that it was too far and not relevant to the goal. Now it looks like whatever's on that island has reached out to us instead, in the form of that projection.
We may not be interested in the island, but the island is definitely interested in us.
Okay, so Prometheus is a broadcast from that island, and whatever Pandora is seems to be from the island too. We are actually talking about this. Okay, that's good. One thing, this is like a little pet peeve of mine. This game is very, very clever about philosophy, but fluctuating energy readings, it doesn't seem to be very curious about physics. Because I'm like, what does that mean? What are fluctuating energy readings? Like, I don't know, I tend to be a big fan of games that sort of like, games and books and movies or whatever that take the science a little bit more seriously than that. Like, try to come up with what you actually detected, what it was, rather than just like, energy. We're reading the energy of this place, and the energy was fluctuating. It's like, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. Yeah, let's investigate this mystery.
I don't share your enthusiasm for the unexpected, but Byron has been requesting an expedition for some time now. And at this point, I'm forced to agree that it's necessary.
I agree.
Then it's settled. The expedition is approved. Byron, you will be in charge. Al will be your second in command to ensure a balanced approach. You'll take Melville and Yakut as you requested, and if 1K wants to join you, that's fine by me.
Why am I special? Okay, I don't know what happens if I say I'm not interested. It would be funny if that's the end of the game. I'm going to say I'm in, though.
Excellent. Oh, this is going to be fun. Come meet us out on the landing pad when you're ready.
Before you set out so hastily, do consider exploring the city first. It is your home, after all.
That's a good idea. Have a look around. See what you make of the place.
Okay, so I can explore New Jerusalem if I want to. Like, how do I do that? Where? Oh, it's this direction. Well, you know what? I could do that later. We're coming up on an hour. And so I feel like, I think we've just crossed the hour boundary, at least on my recording clock. So the question is, are we more curious? I mean, maybe this should be a cliffhanger. Maybe, you know what? Let's wrap the episode now, and then let's figure out what we want to do next. So I'm gonna hit the button and the subscribe button, and yeah, we'll shoot another episode right now of me getting on that I'm gonna get on the helicopter, and we're gonna see what awaits us on the island.